Dante Alighieri said, "The path to paradise begins in hell." Is it also true that the path to hell begins in paradise? Many paradises end as hells. Few hells transform into paradises. Humanity is always trying to find paradise, but does it have any clue how to make it happen? What kind of people typically make it to the top of societies? It is these people, the people who make it, the people actually running society, who determine whether we will live in paradise or hell. And it's usually hell. But maybe paradise for them, at least for a while. History shows us who gets to the top. The earliest societies were probably ruled by the most violent individuals. They terrified everyone else into submission. They were the alphas, and everyone else was scared of them, so did their bidding. These societies would have been paradises for the alphas, and hells for everyone else. Only the simplest societies could be organized on the basis of violence. As time went on, a new type of violent person made it to the top, a cunning violent man. These people didn't rule by fear alone. They saw the worth of using the carrot as well as the stick. They were willing to delegate. So, these people chose a secondary group to assist them, and these assistants got to enjoy the benefits of the alpha, but at a lower level. Paradise had been extended from one person to a group of people. But life remained hell for everyone else. The elites, the alpha and his cronies, tried to legitimize their rule and prevent others from challenging them. The alpha, in due course, became king, and his assistants, his court, his courtiers, were his nobles. The alpha didn't claim to rule because he was more violent or cunning than others. If that was the sole basis of his claim to legitimacy, he would be subject to the Rex Nemerensis, king of Nemi, test. Rex Nemerensis was a priest king of the goddess Diana. He lived in a sacred grove by the shores of Lake Nemi. He ruled while no one challenged him. But if someone broke off a branch of a sacred oak tree, that person was then entitled to fight the ruling Rex Nemerensis to the death. If he prevailed, he became the next king, but remained in post only as long as he could keep defeating new challenges. His rule was permanently insecure. All kings sought ways to prevent anyone from challenging them. The solution they alighted on was religion. They had to make the people believe that they were chosen by the gods, and were agents of the gods, and anyone who challenged them was acting against the gods. That meant that kings had to create a new group of assistants to join the nobility. The new group were the religious types. They were actually given a higher standing than the nobles. Think of the three estates of France prior to the Revolution. The first estate were the clergy, the second estate the nobility, and the third estate the commoners. The zeroth estate was the king and his family. We know these religious types from history as shamans, prophets, gurus, high priests, experts in divination, monks, preachers, and so on. The primary function of these people was to pronounce to the people that the king was the chosen of the gods, and to anoint him as such. To this day, you can see how much effort the elites put in to legitimize themselves. They arrange for enormous ceremonies and rituals to be conducted so that everyone believes that they are the rightful rulers. Religion is a huge part of the process. The leader typically swears on a Bible, holy book, and is sanctified by various religious authorities. Did you see the absurd ceremony by which Donald Trump was appointed president? Did you see all of the religious components of the ceremony? It's all a giant con to create a false consciousness in the masses. These ceremonies are designed for the benefit of the king, his nobles, and his religious attendants and sycophants. Did you see how Trump arranged the seating at his inauguration? Behind him came his family, family first, the Holy Family, then the rich nobility, all the billionaires, and then the political nobility, the cabinet. And later Trump attended a religious ceremony. Trump spoke a lot about God in his inaugural speech. He said he was personally spared by God, seriously, to go on a sacred mission, to lead America to the promised land and a divine golden age, paradise. How often do we have to put up with this demented, narcissistic, psychotic garbage? We all know what's coming for the next 4 years. Paradise for the elites and hell for everyone else. The same old, same old. The same but different. And the masses still go along with it all. Because of their false consciousness. Because they are victims of the spectacle and believe that the monstrous predators who prey on them are somehow legitimate, and even representatives of the divine order. This con has been going on forever, and the suckers, the people, keep falling for it. So, only a very small number of people can get to the top in society: the extremely violent, the cunningly violent, the extremely rich, and the extremely religious. A society can be led by a king, a queen, a pope, a prophet, a high priest, a dictator, a fuera, or, in today's West, by a democratically elected politician, who of course frequently postures as a divinely appointed king, exactly as Donald Trump does. We never escape from the tiny number of ruling archetypes. They are simply presented in different forms. They take on different guises. But it's always the same game. It's very rare for the richest man to reach the top. The fate of the rich is normally to be among the nobles who surround the king, exactly as we saw at Trump's inauguration, where the richest men in the world had to show their subservience to the king. It's all so predictable and tiresome. Thousands of years ago, Plato, in his Republic, said that the people who ought to be in charge are the wise ones, the lovers of wisdom, the philosopher kings. No society has ever followed his teachings. The last people who can get to the top in this world are the wise ones, the intelligentsia, the geniuses. Is it even possible to imagine a genius in the White House? No, it's not. As H.L. Mencken said, as democracy is perfected, the office of president represents, more and more closely, the inner soul of the people. On some great and glorious day, the plain folks of the land will reach their heart's desire at last, and the White House will be adorned by a downright moron. A genius can never make it to the White House, but a moron certainly can. And has. What does it say about humanity that the only people who can never rule are the only ones fit to rule? The people of wisdom, who aim to improve the whole human race and release all of its potential. What a world! Not a paradise, a hell. As Jonathan Swift said, when a true genius appears in the world, you may know him by this sign, that the dunces are all in confederacy against him. That's why the world will never be led by the smart, only by the stupid. That's why the idiocracy is inevitable. Don't say you weren't warned. But who cares about warnings? No one ever listened to Cassandra, who was right every time.